Silicon Valley. This is the place of Google, Apple, Facebook, Cisco, all of these innovations, the companies, the billionaires, the venture capitalists. And here we are, where every 12th child is suffering from poverty. Every 11th adult is poor. There's homelessness, there's hunger, that's invisible. But would you have guessed that 36.99% are living in poverty in West San Jose? Would you have guessed that, right? So this is invisible, this is unseen. You don't see it, but there is real poverty here. When we say homelessness, what does that mean to you? People who are on the streets, right? People you see at corners when you're driving with your parents, probably, or when you're driving, you see people standing on street corners with signs that that's homelessness, right? What we don't see, there are a lot of people who are struggling, who kind of fall in that low-income category. They are living in porches, they are living in people's garages. There are 8 families that are living in 2 rooms. To survive in the Bay Area, to be self-sufficient, how much should a family of 4, what should be their earnings? 86,000. How many people who are in the service place, in transportation, people who are driving our buses or trucks, or you see in your restaurants, or people who, when you go into grocery store, they are selling all that. How many people earn that amount? Any guesses? The percentage is really, really low. But they have to survive over here with the real estate values and pricing of housing being so extravagant, and so many people being under 100% of poverty level. That just does not add up. So if you think about it, when a child is going through poverty, and it influences their life in the future as well. So as they grow up, the cycle of poverty remains with them. So unless they break that cycle of poverty, unless somebody is there to support them break that cycle of poverty, it's going to be generational, you know? So how do we break that cycle? It's this education. How do we break that cycle? By making changes in the community. When financial pressures happen in a family, there are other things that kind of break. So the dad, her husband, was now becoming suddenly abusive to the kids and to her, so she had to leave the house with her children. But think about it. If you didn't have a home, if you didn't have food for days together, you were out on the streets, in the wind, in the cold at night by yourself. Most of the time when you are going through this, your family, your friend, everybody turns away. That happens as well. Even if somebody doesn't have a mental illness. You know, it's easy to become depressed. It's easy to fall into that groove of like hopelessness, right? And that's where we step in to give them hope and to make sure that they have the support and the resources. It's a difficult life. It's incredibly difficult, you know. How do we stand out from other community services? We just don't put things in a bag and hand it to people. If we have a right to go into a grocery store and look at different shelves and choose what we want, why wouldn't somebody who is, you know, fighting poverty? So in our pantry, they walk in and they actually go from shelf to shelf and shop, because their family needs are different. People eat different things. Their ethnicities are different. If we don't provide them, that's not a sense of dignity. We see people on the street side and, you know, they're asking for money. Is that the best way to support them? We encourage you to not provide them with money, because you don't know whether it's really going for food or to support addiction or something like that. But giving them the information about West Valley Community Services or any community that you see them in, that is oftentimes much more helpful. And sometimes even talking to the person and finding out what's going on. It's happened that where I'll find somebody, a woman who's standing at the street corner asking for money, and finding out that she is in a housing and she has a baby, and then asking her to come to West Valley Community Support and connecting her to different kind of resources for a woman. That has been helpful. And immigrants, it is none of our business. That's how we like to keep it. We are serving the poor, we are serving people in need, and that's what we want to do, right? So, and many times our clients are very afraid to reach us or get support from us because they think that if they have to fill out a form, or if they don't speak the language, they can't read, they are so afraid that if they get our services that we might somehow report them, they might have greater repercussions of just getting food from our pantry. And so we reinforce this again and again, that this is nothing to do with immigration. It has nothing to do with what their status is. Our work, our dedicated work, is to serve their need of hunger and how we can support them. You could volunteer, there's pantry cleaning, there's little things that we need to get our vans washed that get food, we need our crates washed, we need our shelves rearranged, we need handwritten thank you cards made. There's like always stuffing envelopes, there's always something, and Anna can tell you more about, we're always stuffing envelopes to send out information to our donor communities. These people who are our lifeline, 600 volunteers through the year, only 19 staff, that's it. Everything else is done by volunteers. And if this wasn't a great community, we wouldn't see 600 people, right? So it's a great community that we get supported. The mission is about uniting the community to fight hunger. And we want to see a community where everybody has food on their table and everybody has a roof over their heads. I always think of it as not a hand down, as not a hand out, but a hand up. That's what we do.